So as I was coming up with this idea and thinking, well, I should kind of make this into a product, and doing the math for all of our different music chords, all of our 3-note chords forming triangles, our 4-note chords make trapezoids, and doing this math, I'm showing my piano teacher week after week, month after month, the math. And he's telling me to talk to a bunch of other people he knew who were Eastman School of Music teachers at the church I go to. And I'm showing them the math, and everybody's eyes are popping out of their head, and they're saying, Andy, I can't believe what you're showing me. The math for your chords here, it's so simple, but they never teach it like this excuse me, in music school. So he starts pushing me. A friend of mine told me that there was no black notes originally. We just had the key of C, no sharps, no flats. He says, Andy, he says, I don't believe you. Prove it to me. Go talk to the Eastman School of Music professors that we go to church with. And I'm asking these Eastman School of Music teachers about the sharps, the flats. And I said there wasn't any, and they didn't know either. And here they're teaching at one of the most prestigious music schools, but they didn't know what happened 1,000 years ago. And he says, my piano teacher says, prove it to me. Unfortunately, it's him right here. He ended up getting cancer, and he died just a few months later. I'm flipping through this book that my dad had given me, and I see this picture here. It's a keyboard, and it has just B flats. And I started reading down through the article and stuff, and discovered that B flat was the first black note found. So here's the proof that I needed. And then it was a few years later that I actually found out the guy whose name was FGA. That's too high. They found B flat. Didn't harmonize. So they found B flat first, then F sharp, then E flat, then C sharp, and then G sharp. It took 425 years to find these 2 flats, these 3 sharps, the 5 black notes that's on our piano here. But then it took another 300 years for them to discover the sharps of flats, flats of sharps. So by the 1750s, we end up with a whole bunch of sharps, a whole bunch of flats, which overwhelmed and complicated the original system when they only had the white notes. So he's pushing me really, really hard to figure all of this stuff out. And he's pushing me, these other musicians and stuff like that, and I'm doing all of this math and coming up with a system on how to figure out notes and chords of keys by triangles and trapezoids. So he's pushing me really hard. A friend of mine tells me there's no black notes, and it just seemed wrong because these black notes overwhelmed and complicated the original system. And so I'm praying, God, how does this music really, really, really work? For about a year and a half. And in December of 2000, I had the most vivid dream of my whole life. I saw D, and D's dragging a little +3. This is where my daughter told me, my teacher told me that 2 + 1 is 3, and I believe her. Scariest moment of my whole life. And then I saw F, and F's dragging a +4, and I saw A with a +3, and C with a +4, and E with a +3, and it's all around +3, +4, +3, +4, +3, +4, +4, so on and so forth. And every once in a while, 7's like whipping over my head really, really fast, much faster than it's going +3, +4, +3, +4. And then it slowed down and it stopped. And then in my dream, I look over my left shoulder, and very slowly, F sharp's coming by, and F sharp is dragging a -3. And then I saw D sharp with a -4, and B with a -3, and G sharp, and E, and so on, going -3, -4, -3, -4, -3, -4, -3, -4. And then every once in a while, those 7s are coming from behind, just barely touching my hair, much faster than it's going -3, -4, -3, -4. Suddenly, I was thrown inside of it, and it was like I was inside a clock or a watch. And now I'm watching these notes go -3, +4, -3, +4, -3, +4, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tick-tock. As it did, it went C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C's ninth is the note D, and it just kept on going, and it goes through the key of D, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, and it tick-tocked through all of the different keys. This 5-minute dream, at least it seemed like it was a 5-minute dream. I woke up out of this dream sweating head to toe. I don't sweat like this normally on a hot August day when I had a fever. I'm sweating, soaked in sweat. And I'm going like this, pushing the sweat off my body. My heart was pounding. I pushed myself up off my bed. My pillow, my blankets were soaked. I just don't sweat like this. Heart pounding. Shook my head, said to myself, Andy, you're spending way too much time at your piano. It's a 5-minute dream. Took 6.5 years to figure out, draw out. These are the black and white notes on our piano. And from the other side, which was a bass 24, this is a bass 48 system. I was praying, God, Jesus, how does music really, really, really work? And in the most vivid dream of my entire life, I was inside this as it's going tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. And the arrow that's spinning quickly is pointing out to every single note of every single octave. It's also going in what they call circles of fifths. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And the hands eclipse, a new octave starts. So we're going step, step, half step, 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 half step, 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 half step, 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 half step. I was inside of this in the most vivid dream of my entire life. Woke up out of that 5-minute dream. It took 6.5 years to figure out. I also lost the very best girlfriend I ever had at this point in my whole life. He's like, Andy, will you put your markers away? Stop playing with my piano. I was like, but honey, this could be worth millions. And she kept on saying, who's going to care? And I said, they're going to care. And she kept on saying, who is they?
People 200 years from now.
Yeah, so they got to do it. Yeah, for the people to it. And she dumped me. I see her sister occasionally, and I keep on telling her sister, I made it, I did it, I patented it, I copywritten it, sold thousands, made thousands, she was wrong, I'm right. Now this is a big rock star. So anyway, where am I in the story? So then I have this down to the Eastman School of Music, and I'm showing in this diagram. This diagram is about 24 inches in diameter. And I'm explaining to the chairman of the music theory department how all of this works and how that every note that's here is also pointed to here and is an exact mathematical system. And he showed me some stuff that was in my drawing there that I was unaware of. This drawing took me months to figure out, draw out, and illustrate to the best of my ability. But he showed me stuff in there I didn't know was in there. I went back home and then I put the steps and very, very, very mysterious half steps in. So I thought music was just a bass 12 system because we have 12 different notes. The dream doubles that system to bass 24. And then as it goes tick-tock, tick-tock, it goes out into the clockwork is bass 48. And then if you look between the lines, or read between the lines, in other words, we got C, D, E, half step, F, G, A, B, then a half step to C. We got these black lines coming in here. These are the half steps, and these would be the steps between the white notes here, but it continues on through all of the notes, but sometimes we're using white and black notes, so on and so forth. So what I thought I thought I was done at base 48, but then he showed me some stuff, went back home, put the steps and the half steps in there, and every single note of every single chord, every single key, every step in the very mysterious half steps, which is there and there. There's 12 of them. Mathematical phenomena. Don't know why they're there. Wow. So anyway, boy did I get off track. The reason I wanted to bring up the dream
Yeah, the
and
dream.
this was to explain that harmony is a clockwork of mathematics, and every single note of every octave, being the double helix that it is a very exact, precise angle. So, there are no black notes originally. Our keyboards, what happened to the drawing?
Action.
Our keyboards looked like this. We had no black notes. And so, we are having our key of C that they were doing for thousands of years, going C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Guido starts it out, goes do, re, mi, gets to fa, that sounds too high. He finds B flat in the year 1025. Do, re, mi, B flat, fa, C, D, E, F. So originally, we got just our natural notes. The key of C. Guido finds a note between A and B, we call it today, we call it B flat. He called it B at the time, but that's a different story. So now we have music with the original key, the key of C, and we have a new key, the key of F with B flat in it. Somebody else starts at G and goes do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and they get to T that doesn't sound high enough there. They discover a note between F and G. They found F sharp. So getting back to the original key, the key of C, but then starting at G, going G, A, B, C, D, E. They found a note between F and G. They called it F sharpened. We call it F sharp. Created the key of G. So here's the key of C. Here, F sharp's found here from G, A, B, D, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So the sharp is found clockwise, and from the key of C, starting at F, the B flat is found counterclockwise. And because this is all sets of mathematics, and every single note is an exact angle, the B flat is found here, and it is found at 315 degrees. It's clock, tick-tock, tick-tock. It's found at top 48. And then starting at the B flat, going do, re, mi, get to fa, that sounds too high. They found B flat. So they already had B flat. And at B flat, C, D, they get to E, that sounds too high. They flattened the E to E flat, which is found at top 44. It's exactly 135 degrees at its angle. It also would look like these moon phases if it was a moon. But, oh, you know me a long time. Am I a lunatic? Yeah, he's shaking his head. He was holding the camera.
But in a good way.
Then starting at E flat that they find, they go do, re, mi, they get to fa again, and it sounds too high. They flatten the A, so they find A flat. Here's B flat, E flat, the A flat that they had found, and then as time went on, they kept on finding more flats. They find B flat, then G flat. Excuse me. Where was it? G flat, and then they find C flat, which is really the note B, and then they find the note F flat, which is really the note E. And then, if you keep on going through the system, would be going in the opposite direction, and I just did it. But if you kept went in the opposite direction, so here we're going in reverse, and we're finding there's the B flat that was found, and there's the E flat that was found, and here's the A flat that was found. Am I doing that right? Oh no. I'm wrong. It is A flat. And then they find D flat, and they find G flat, so on and so forth. Now, going the opposite direction is they find flats counterclockwise around Willoughby's harmonic clock, which came out of the string here. And then going clockwise, we had the key of C. They find F sharp first, and then with the F sharp, start D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and then they find C sharp. They find a second sharp at 270 degrees, and perfect angle there. And then they discover the key of A with its new note, G sharp. It's found at exactly 90 degrees with an angle here. And then they find D sharp, creating the key of E. It's found right here. Got four sharps, found at 270 degrees. And then we get the key of B, again 90 degrees here, and it's found. And every time they found a new sharp, it was found exactly 30 degrees around the spectrum of Willoughby's harmonic clock, and always at these angles of being either 90 degrees or 270, these angles here. And if you could look at this stuff like moon phases, it would look like moon phases. And then if you keep on going, so here's the 7 sharp keys, but then we stop here, and as music evolved out of Europe, by the time they got to the 17th century, and we end up with all of these 15 different key sharps with 7 flats, 7 sharps. They stopped there. But in the dream here, as we go tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, we'd keep on going. We'd find another note here, 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 and the two of the original ones. We would end up with keys called G sharp, which is really the key A flat. We'd find a key called D sharp. It's also known as, we know it as E flat. And then we'd come up with a key of A sharp, which is really the key of B flat. We would come up with a key called E sharp. We know it as the key of F. And then there would be the key of B sharp, which is the key of C, going in the opposite direction. And starting anywhere and going -3 +4, -3 +4, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. We're gonna, as we went on, we found the key of F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, which really won't be. But if we went here, 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 we also would have keys known as the key of F flat. We call it the key of E. There'd be the key of B double flat, would be the key of A. E double flat would be the key of D. A double flat, we know it's the key of G. And D double flat would be the C. Just as we have 3 keys that we call the enharmonic keys. In other words, the key of F sharp, the key of G flat, going step, step, half step, 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 half step. This, if we call it a sharp key, we're calling it F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F. But if we call it by flats, we're calling it G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, same black notes, but we're calling it either sharps or flats. And the difference is our key signature. If our key signature calls for the song to be in sharps, we call them sharps. If the key signature has flats, for instance, we call those flats. So, we've been lied to. Music doesn't work the way we've all been taught. This is a whole new way of doing the same old thing. We don't need to know any of the math of where the notes are somewhere.